Hi guys, welcome to video 3, the final video on how to make biryani. Okay, one last thing I forgot to mention in the last video. After you were done with all this mixture, you're supposed to add 6 tablespoons of oil in the mixture, mix it one last time, and then put it aside to marinate, like in the fridge. Okay, so please make sure you do that. I wrote a note in the video, but I'm not sure if you guys read it. So please do that. And then this last 6 tablespoons we'll be using in this video. Okay, so I have the meat ready. I have the water on the stove right about to boil. The oil, the rice that I have been soaking for half an hour. I'm using 3 cups of basmati rice. My husband likes more rice, so that's why I'm using 3, but usually for 1 pound of meat, I personally use 2. Okay, so make sure you drain the rice. I have to do that first, like strain the water out. Okay, and then I have the whole garam masala to flavor the water. If you were using the powder, then you already have it in here, so you don't need this. But if you didn't use the powder, then we're going to put this in the water. Also, there's going to be a teaspoon of salt in the water, and then like half a teaspoon of turmeric. This is just for coloring. I want my rice to be kind of yellow because I think it looks better, but you don't have to do that. My mother-in-law doesn't do that. I just do that because I want the rice to be like not white. I like it to be a color. Okay, and then the little bits of onions that we had left over for the garnish, and then some cilantro for the garnish. Okay, and I'm going to be using the tea strainer to strain out the rice, and then a spoon. Okay, you guys, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and add the salt, and then the turmeric into the water, and then just stir it around. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and, oops, I almost forgot the whole spices. Give me a sec. All the whole spices going to. Okay, so the water's almost coming to a boil. I'm going to go ahead and let it come to a boil, and in the meantime, I need to, drain the water out of my rice. Okay, so I'll be back, you guys. Okay, the water is now boiling, so I'm going to go ahead and put my rice in, but I'm going to have to turn this off because, I don't have anyone to hold the cam. Alright, give me a second. But go ahead and add your rice in as soon as it's boiling. The water's boiling like this. Okay, you guys, so I just dunked the rice in, and now I'm going to stir it. Like you can see, not all of it's covered, so... Okay, so maybe some of you guys are wondering, like, okay, why is she cooking the rice, but the meat is still, like, sitting in the pan raw, okay? So the first time I made this, I thought it was weird too, like, why am I supposed to cook the meat? Why am I doing the rice? Okay, the way this works is, in about 4 or 5 minutes, you're going to take out half of the rice. I'm going to do it with a strainer, dunk it in here, half of this rice in here, okay, and then just spread it out, pat it down nicely, and then it has to be half cooked, okay, not all the way, yes, half cooked, okay, and then finish cooking the remainder of the rice that's in here, like fully cook it till it's all done, and then you're going to put the remainder of the rice on top of this, and then you're going to we'll put some oil on top of the whole thing, and then cook this pan, and then we'll be done with that, okay? Now if you're wondering, like, how on earth is that going to get cooked? Because I was thinking that apparently using the ginger and garlic paste along with the yogurt not only tenderizes the meat, but it starts to cook it as well. So, the whole thing that makes this biryani easy is the fact that you technically only have to marinate the meat, make the rice, put the rice on top, and then just leave it on the stove for it to cook. instead of having to cook the rice and then cook the meat and then put them together and then cook the whole thing together. So it might sound a little scary, like, to some people, like, I don't know if it's gonna cook all the way, but it does. Okay? Because we're gonna cook it and then leave it sitting for some time, and then it'll finish cooking in that time. Okay? So I guess I'm gonna turn off the cam for now. I'm just waiting a few minutes until this is done cooking. Well, half of it. Okay, so half the rice, like, I'm gonna say 3 to 4 minutes, but it really depends on your stove. 3 to 4 minutes, just let it cook. And I'll take out half, and then I guess I'll see you back in a few minutes. Alright, you guys, it's been a few minutes, so I'm gonna start straining some of this out, and I'm actually just gonna show you how to do it twice, and then I'm gonna turn this off and do half, okay? So I just take a tea strainer. Okay. And then put it on top. And if some water gets in there, it's okay. Because you actually, I mean, it's good if this meat has water, because you don't want it to stick to the bottom of the pan, okay? So, like, if it's like that, just pour it over. It's fine. Sorry. Okay, and even at the end, I'll pour some water on top of the rice, just to make sure that it goes to the bottom, because you don't want your meat to stick to the bottom of the pan. That happened to me a few times. You know, I mean, I guess if you wanted to, you could actually put some water in the marinated meat and mix it, like, not while it's marinating, but like right now that you're about to finish it off. Actually, I probably should have done that, but oh well, kind of too late. I'll just pour water in the top and it'll sink to the bottom. Okay, so I just start on the outside and work my way in, and then later with the spoon, I can smooth it all out. But just half the rice, so guys, okay? Sorry if my angles are off. I'm trying to, like, film and keep my eye on the dish too. Like, see how the rice is yellow? That's why I use the turmeric in there. It's not, like, super bright yellow or anything, but it just gives it a nice color. You know, if your food's colorful, it, I don't know, it just makes you want to eat it more. At least to me. If it looks good, the better it looks, the more pleasure I can get out of eating it. Okay, guys, so I'm gonna finish doing this. Oh, and if the whole spices fall in there, it's no big deal. I mean, it gives more flavor to the dish, but some people are just like, ugh, they don't like them. But I mean, you can just dig them out later. So I keep them in there, but everybody's different. It's your preference. Alright, you guys, I'm gonna go ahead and turn off the camera, and then I'll be back when I do the second layer of rice, okay? Okay, guys, so I have the rest of my rice still boiling until it is fully cooked all the way. It has to be cooked all the way. If not, when we cook the whole thing together, at the end, the top layer of your rice will be super mega crunchy, like potato chips. But that only happens if you don't cook the second part of the rice long enough, okay? So this is half on top of the meat mixture, and I forgot to mix the water in. You know, you guys, I'm sorry, like, I'm human, okay? I'm not perfect. I make mistakes, I forget things. So, since I forgot to put the water, mix a little bit of water in the meat mixture and the goat, I'm gonna just pour some water on top. There's probably like 8 ounces, 10 ounces of water. Just spread it around. I don't even know if this will work, but we'll find out, right? You guys are doing this with me. I'm only gonna do half because I'll do the rest on the top. Okay. Alright, so I just wanted to do that because there's nothing worse than the meat sticking to the bottom. I mean, the meat's on the bottom, so it's already, some parts are going to be kind of crispy. Not burnt, but just crispy. Because, you know, all the direct heat's going to be hitting that part. But I just don't want it to get burnt because that ruins everything. Okay, you guys, so I'll be back in a few minutes. Just wanted to add the water in there. So please make sure you do that, but hopefully you watch the video and just remember that as soon as you take this out of the fridge, before you do any of this, mix the water, like half a cup probably, or a little more than that. But you don't want it to be too runny, just something so that the meat won't be sticking or burning to the bottom, okay? Alright, see you guys in a few minutes. Alright, you guys, this is the rest of the rice, and as you can tell, like, the water's kind of running out. I went ahead and took a grain and I smushed it in between my fingers and pretty much, like, you know, smushed all the way through. Like when I did this, it was only kind of like half hard, half mushy. This is fully mushy, so I'm going to go ahead and turn off the flame right now. And I'm going to turn off the video and just basically strain all this and dump it onto there. And then I'll be back with you guys. Alright, you guys, so this is everything done. My rice pan over there is empty. Everything's in here. Now, one note on any recipe of mine that you may watch, when it comes to salt, I tell you what I use, but obviously salt, everyone's taste is different, so just please keep that in mind. Okay, so what we're going to do now is I'm going to add the rest of the water. I did half, it was like 8 to 10 ounces, so I'm going to add the rest on top. Okay, and then I'm going to drizzle the 6 tablespoons of oil, like all around it, all on top. Okay, alright, so now I'm going to put the lid on this. And I'm about to turn this burner on like, you probably can't see the flame, but as high as it'll go, and for like, I want to say 10 minutes, cook it on high, like as high as your stove can go, or make sure obviously that the pan can handle it. So for like 10 minutes on high, and then after that I'm going to put it on medium for a few minutes, and then just sim it for like probably like 10 minutes, then I'll check it. Okay, and so let me do that real quick. Okay, you guys, so I have it on high. It's gonna cook for like 10 minutes on high, and then I'll come back and check it out. Okay, and if you're using the oven, you're gonna wanna do it 4 to 425, depending on your oven temperature. You know, every oven's different. For like 30 to 35 minutes, and then after that, put it like on 350 maybe for 10 minutes, and then just turn the oven off and leave it in there for like 20 minutes. Okay, and then it should be ready to serve. And just make sure you cover it nicely in the oven, okay? But when I make it in the oven, the top rice usually gets crunchy, so I don't like that. I don't know if it's maybe I'm cooking it too high heat for my oven. I haven't really played around with it enough yet, so if you're worried about that, maybe you could just do it at 400 for 35 minutes and then just turn the oven off and leave it sitting in there for another half hour. So it'll finish cooking, but it won't overcook. I don't know, you gotta play around with that. Every oven's different. Right, so I'll see you in a few minutes to check back on this. Alright, you guys, my timer just went off. 10 minutes on high. I put it on medium now, and I'm going to check, and I'll show you how to check. My mother-in-law said to kind of get the spoon and just choose a spot, and you make a hole. I don't know if you guys can see. There's still some water, so you can see it boiling. So I'm gonna keep it on here for like maybe 2 to 3 minutes, and then I'm just gonna go ahead and shut off the stove, because this whole pan is still gonna be super hot. So while it's sitting there for like half an hour, the rest of the water will evaporate. So you can like, you see the bottom of the pan, there's not that much water, so if I turn it off in like 2 to 3 minutes, it should be good, because you don't want that stuff to burn, okay? Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and cover it, leave it on for 3-4 more minutes. I'll show you again, and then I'll turn it off. Alright, you guys, it's been a few more minutes, and all the water is pretty much on so you can see it better. Like, literally, if I leave it any longer, it's going to start burning on. So I'm going to put the garnish on real quick and then turn it off, okay? Alright, you guys, I put the garnish on and I'm just going to cover it and then turn the stove off. Let it sit for half an hour and it's ready to serve. Alright, so assuming my phone doesn't die, I'll be back in half an hour to show you what it looks like done. And if I don't come back and the video ends here, then that means my phone died. Okay, but the heat is totally off. Alright, so let it sit for half an hour. Alright, you guys, so it's been half an hour sitting there with the flame off. I just uncovered it. So I took some out, packing my husband's plate for work. This is what it looks like. Is it focused? Sorry. This is what it looks like. So even though it looked like, you know, like all the rice was on top and the meat's on the bottom, once you serve it, it's fine and you can mix it with your spoon or your hand. So this is what it looks like. So I hope you guys try this recipe, whether you make it in the oven or the stove. Please, if you have any questions, let me know. Leave a comment. If you like what you see, please subscribe. And just, I hope you guys try this. And please let me know what you think. Honesty is the best policy. Alright, thanks so much.